Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another business video. I am here with Geoffrey Woo, a legend. Pretty much, we're just gonna talk about business like we usually do. The viewers love this stuff. You guys ask for more videos like this. We're updating you on everything anti-fund, everything better, what we have going on behind the scenes, and just talking in general about the current status, fancy, of business and everything going on in the world. I think the craziest things are like AI. Get out of the fucking shit! I'm joking.
IQ going up for Jake and the emotional control going down, apparently.
Yeah, we just had Bobby Shmurda on the podcast, and he was like super high energy, so I think I still got that left over in my system. I got to transition from fun mode and crazy entertainment mode to like business. Here we go.
Business can be exciting.
It can be. It definitely can be. I think what's exciting is AI, and it's kind of scary at the same time. What do you think?
I mean, I think if you look at the history of AI, artificial intelligence, it's actually been an industry that's been in computing for the last 40, 50 years, where AI used to be called machine learning, and before that was basically complex optimization, which is like linear algebra, solving math equations and predicting future sets given a certain pattern. So, you know, I studied this in school at Stanford, and it's really cool to see now that we have more and more computing power, more and more memory, so you can have more and more data, and then the predictions that these models can make are more efficient. So in some sense, there's a lot of hype, a lot of it's real, but I think with any hyped industry, a lot of it's bullshit, but the underlying value is for sure real. And I think we've seen the same thing happening with Web3 and crypto, a lot of hype, a lot of bullshit happening in that sector, but you know, there's real builders who are really serious about the ecosystem, about technology that will build something great. So,
yeah, I think that AI is mainly this super advanced tool that's going to help human progression and humans evolve in ways we don't even realize or understand or can comprehend yet. And I think we were talking about this last night, like off camera, like what is the goal of the human species? Our natural instinct is to survive. Basically, that's what we've done, and we've just survived better and better and better and gotten to a place of more comfortability and grown, obviously, our population into the 8 billions, but now it's like, when's the asteroid gonna come and wipe out the human race? And I think things like AI are those tools to help us progress, to be able to be multiplanetary, to continue to advance the human race so we don't go extinct like the dinosaurs who didn't have fucking AI.
Yeah,
idiots.
And I think that's like a good way to frame it, because when I think about paradigm-changing things, I go back to first principles. And what is the definition of technology? A technology is just a way for humans to better manipulate our environment, right? Like fire could control the brush around us. We can use that to cook food, and from fire, build metal, smithing, and all these, like the steam engine, right? The combustion engine. So computing is essentially a way to do calculations faster than the human mind with larger and larger numbers. And AI is like the next level of this. How do you have a number of parallel computations, exponentially larger memory, perfect recall, and essentially doing better predictions than humans can.
Yep.
So I think the question is, AI is a fancy way to solve complex math equations that reflect to human utility. But then the question that I think we're thinking about now, especially as venture capitalists and as entrepreneurs, how does AI apply to our lives today and tomorrow? I mean, I think even just like we were, you know, like I would love to just hear like, you know.
Some people on the team are using AI for all sorts of things. Right now we're using AI a lot for creating our thumbnails for YouTube videos. Really? And the AI is like incredible at Photoshop. So it's this like AI within Photoshop, and the thumbnails are just like 10 times better than these designers can even do it, and it's instantaneous, like damn near 5 seconds. Jasper on the team is using AI to write love letters to girls, but that's
working
obviously
better than his normal riz?
It's better than his normal. AI has more riz than Jasper, but it's just crazy, and this is, it feels like it's all happened overnight. Obviously, companies have been building for years and years and years, but I think it's like you get on the AI train or you get ran over. But I think this is why we have so much conviction in AI from a business standpoint, and why we're investing into a couple different AI companies and looking to invest in more AI companies because of the power of it, and it being an amazing tool that, if used properly, advances society in so many ways. But there's also the scary side of it. Just like anything out there that's powerful and useful, people abuse it. Yep. And I think that's where a lot of people are scared. That's where I'm scared, like of the bad sides of it as well. Like, are we gonna become iRobot? Like, is the Will Smith movie gonna be our reality?
I think it's like a very open question, right? Like, I don't think we're guaranteed to have a utopia, that everything's gonna be all right. So I think that's where the entrepreneurs and companies that we back, we support, we build, it requires like good people with high integrity building technology in service of humans versus us being, I think one parallel universe could be 7 godly humans that control everything. They control all the AI infrastructure, all the robots, all the resources. Because I think that is like the late stage one set of capitalism, where capital accrues to 7 people that control everything. And I think that's the role of government, that's the role of society, like folks, like everyone coming together in a democratic way saying, hey, what are the rules, regulations to make sure that technology is in service of humans? And I think that is an interesting conversation, where are the social apps that have helped all of our careers and I think have entertained us and helped us learn a lot. We're actually at an interesting cusp where are we actually just being addicted and overly consumption of these tools? Like, have we just become in service of big data trying to sell us stuff? It is actually like I think an active debate happening now.
Yeah, and I would say the answer is most likely yes, because I think humans are more susceptible to, I guess, falling into those traps than they are of controlling themselves. And it seems like the phone and such is controlling the human more so than the human controlling the phone. But now, as humans, we're spreading that knowledge and information to other humans to be aware of that and not be addicted, and to put the phone down and to set screen time limits and all of these things. As technology advances, there's limitations, there's more knowledge on the harmful sides of all of these technologies. And I think that's just something that we have to be careful about and control what it is that we're using and doing, to not be over consuming and like go down these rabbit holes.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe just one thing that I've observed about you, which might not be obvious to everyone, is that you're actually very disciplined and very limited on your phone. Yeah. I think literally you have, in some sense, realized that technology, social media is a tool in service of your business and intellectual interests versus you just being a slave to the quick dopamine hits of the latest short form little TikTok or Instagram reel or YouTube short.
Yeah, I set screen limits. I try not to go on my phone for the first 30 minutes within waking up, because your brain is in a more susceptible state because you're in like theta when you first are waking up. And so everything that you see or hear is gonna subconsciously enter into your system in a deeper way. So I try to stay off my phone for the first 30 minutes, meditate first, and just setting little things like that, and noticing when you're just mindlessly picking up the phone to click into certain things.
I mean, that's personally inspiring to me, and I'm sure for a lot of people to hear, because you built your career at the initial start being essentially ubiquitous
yes.
on the internet.
Yeah.
So like, lesson or inspiration for everyone out there. Like,
use the internet. Yeah. Don't let it use you. Use it as a tool.
I think in other applications of AI that I found very interesting was the deepfake Drake track that was just a banger. It was just, we have a lot of friends in the music industry, and the kind of the inside scoop and discussion there is that the industry is treating it very, very seriously. I mean, you have, I think, the initial Napster file sharing. I would say the music industry got caught off guard with file sharing, and it took a long time to go to streaming as a more efficient business model to have instant, ubiquitous sharing of music, right?
Yep.
Like, you had to buy, I don't know, you remember buying CDs and like cassette tapes and records? I remember like Linkin Park Hybrid Theory's the first CD I ever bought. Like, that was the way we had to like buy music. Now it's just like stream music, Apple Music, Spotify.
Yeah, like having a verification and verifying the content and verifying the songs and verifying the audio is gonna be so much more important for these platforms. And it can't run rampant, but I heard this AI like recreate a whole Joe Rogan podcast for like 10 minutes. Basically, he was talking about crazy shit, but it sounded exactly like him. It looked exactly like him. So these are all things that we have to be cautious of, and that's why posting from your profiles and the verifications are going to be like so much more important. And moving forward, these platforms need to be very wary of this problem that's going to arise.
But how about leaning in, right? So if we extrapolate out that this technology will be ubiquitous, why not license Jake Paul image and voice and be like, hey, I will do a revenue share with anyone that launches Jake Paul music or videos, do a business deal.
Yeah, they start making Jake Paul rap songs.
But like, I think that is likely what will happen. I don't see a world where you stop technology, especially if it's that much more efficient. Yeah. It is indiscernible from real versus AI fake, and you could probably generate, like Drake could probably generate better music at some scale. I think we're already crossing that limit.
Yep.
And I think humans are pretty simple. Like, people will gravitate towards a better product. My sense is that you don't fight against something that delivers better, cheaper, faster. Then the question is, how do you be ahead of that curve, take advantage of that system? We can opt in or not, right? Like, I don't know if I would be licensing Jeff Woo voice likeness or not. But I think that will be likely a very interesting business opportunity because the industry of entertainment content will change. Like, you could imagine another idea that is interesting is that what if you had a single player only Instagram? Like, essentially every single feed post is AI generated photos and music that matches your preferences. And you can comment, and then AI will comment and like, and you feel amazing. Like, I've been thinking, like, could you have single player Tinder? Where you basically swipe left or right on generative AI looking beautiful people. And then you chat with them and you have single player like interactions.
That's the dark side of it though. Because it's like people will abuse that, and that's where like communities and relationships and the brain can get like go into these like sick, twisted places, and people like having fake girlfriends. That's the part where it's scary.
I think that real interactions, like sitting here together, will be rarer and rarer and more scarce and scarce. Maybe it ends up being like only a certain class of people can sit down together because they're actually getting a better experience than like a fully digital fake experience. Yeah. I think, I honestly, I don't think it's gonna take that long. I think this is absolutely within our lifespan, and likely will be appearing in the next 3 years, especially as VR goggles. Apple just announced their Vision Pro, which looks really, really interesting. I haven't personally played with it, but I have a lot of friends who worked on that actual product. They swear to me that they're not gonna have a computer screen anymore. They're not gonna have a laptop. They're gonna be like coding and doing email in the goggle, because you can have giant screens with perfect text clarity. Like, it's as clear as like real vision. So you can just imagine just big screens where we're just like typing.
And you have multiple screens pulled up, and it's just gonna be faster and more efficient, essentially.
Yeah, because you just have like 50 HD TV screens all around you. You can just look at everything.
And will TVs, I guess, go to the wayside, right? Because then you just pull it up and you just shoot it up in front of you.
Yeah.
So basically, we're not gonna have TVs. That's fucking crazy. This is a Gary Vee segment that we're like, in 15 years when there's no TVs, I'm gonna cut back to this clip and be like, see, we told you there wouldn't be TVs.
Again, I don't have any secret information, but just kind of the inside scoop I've heard is that the one constraint is just making it super light.
Yeah, well, and affordable.
And comfortable. Yeah, it's too expensive now.
And I think it's hardwired, so people don't like wires.
So I think that's a technical challenge.
Yeah.
I think, so Facebook, their Oculus has all the power and compute within the device itself, so it's heavy. I think Apple has actually opted to have an external computer. So then you can have a super light headset.
People are using AI for a bunch of things, including sports betting. And on the sports betting front, it's cool to announce. Well, it's already announced, but it's cool. Less than a year, Better is now valued at $300 million. We raised $35 million.
300 million pre, so technically it's like, I think 348 million posts, something like that.
Which is amazing, led by Roger Ehrenberg. Shout out to Roger and Fuel Capital. But super excited about that. And like I said, in less than a year, and we just have so many amazing things coming up, launching better picks, which is going to be huge for us. We're going to be live in over 40 states. So the product's going to be more accessible other than just being in 2 states, which is where we are currently. And the product is just amazing. So soon to come. And this is really where we get put to the test as a company, you know. This is where everything starts to matter more and more, and where we have to run and sprint and go full speed and really prove results and continue to drive these numbers, which we've met all of our metrics and above and beyond. But this next 18 months to 2 years will really define us.
Yeah.
It'll define us as a company. Do we go to 10, 15 billion dollar company, or do we stay where we're at and slowly progress? And we're all excited for that challenge, and that's the beauty of a startup, and that's where the conviction in ourselves and our team and our thesis all starts to really take place in a big way.
I think that's one thing that I feel like is just not discussed enough. Like, what is it like being a startup founder, a tech founder? I think we see a lot of celebrity entrepreneurs like just kind of be on the marketing side, but you know, behind the scenes, right? Like literally, like 2 summers ago with Joey, we're like brainstorming the future of sports betting and sports media. Fast forward a year, you launched. I think the flag tentpole moment to launch was the Anderson Silva fight. So the progression has been incredibly fast.
Yeah, when people don't see the hours and hours put in on the phone and the meetings in person and the flights across the world just to talk to one person to make something happen, investor dinners, all these sort of things they don't get to see behind the curtains of, and it's a time consuming, and everyone's 100% invested in at all times. It's our reputation on the line. It's how good are you? How competitive are we? Are we better than these other companies like we say we are? And proving that out. And everyone has a chip on their shoulder. We're all hungry. So it's really an around the clock thing for all of us. But a lot of people don't get to see the behind the curtains into every little detail and decision that is made for the company. And that's the beauty of it. That's the fun part. That's where I get excited, is all of my knowledge, all of your knowledge. It's all of us working together to create the best thing possible.
What are the lowlights? I think there's a lot of accolades. I know the media team literally won an industry award.
Yeah.
Like a couple weeks ago in New York City. Our buddy Derek, I think, got a little trophy from it. So shout out Derek.
Yeah.
What are things that were harder than you expected?
Man, I think just making sure everything is always buttoned up in terms of like what we're putting out, what our brand is, what our messaging is, and building each and every person within that social team and hiring people out to make sure we have this dream team. And the lowlights are the tough decisions of doing something, yes or no, the growing pains of things falling through the cracks and having to make up for those things that are falling through the cracks. I mean, even in Ohio, I'm there for New Year's, we're supposed to launch, and then all of a sudden we can't launch officially for a couple more weeks because of a credit card processor. And these are the stressors that go behind the scenes. And 80 something people now are working around the clock to literally problem solve. So there's always a problem, and it's not necessarily a low light. I like the creative solutions and the creative thinking to get past all of these things, but it does create stress because I care. And I think when people care a lot about something and something goes wrong within that, even if it's something small, it's going to create stress. So it's definitely just overall stressful to be a founder with a lot on the line. And it's a very serious, very, very serious thing. There's 80 people whose jobs and families and everyone depends on this company working. So you not only the outside, but the inside is also important.
And $80-90 million of investor capital too.
Yes.
And a lot of our own money in the business.
A lot of our own money.
It's the real skin in the game.
Yes. Yeah, so we just want to do our best. But I think all of that pressure, the cheesy saying, it creates diamonds, but it's true. And that's the beauty of a startup, and it's high risk, high reward, and that's why it's called venture capital. A lot of people don't realize that, like, it's screaming right in your face that this is risky. Like, venture literally means a daring or risky undertaking or journey. So a lot of people, oh, venture capital, like,
Ooh, so fancy.
it's smacking you in your face like, this is risky, this is dangerous, this is a high stakes game, but we like to gamble.
There you go.
Hey.
One thing that I think has also been an interesting learning experience, I think for both of us, is that gaming is a highly regulated industry.
Yep.
So I think the discipline around getting qualified as a gaming operator state by state, and all the messaging, marketing obligations that it entails around what we can do and can't do. I think that's been a great learning experience to understand like what true discipline is. And I think it also gives us a good foundation if we want to do more regulated industry type things. Maybe, one of our companies that we invested, Anduril, making military hardware. Maybe that's something that from this experience we can have more and more credibility entering more interesting, technical, regulated space down the line.
That's the beauty of Better, is it is a very difficult thing to start a gaming company and to be successful. And we've already broken through so many barriers in such a short amount of time, and so proud of that. But if you can make it work, then it fucking works. And that's where I think we're headed with Better. And it's like each brick that you lay and the foundation you lay within a gaming company, it's like that shit's cemented in there, and it's harder to lay the bricks, and it's a slower build over time, but that foundation ends up being really strong, and we're breaking through the noise, and that, I believe, is what makes the team super valuable and our company super valuable in general.
Yeah, no, I think if you, the team, we all do our collective jobs, I really feel like this will be a Harvard Business School case study in terms of what this next generation of customer-facing brands look like, right? Like the media company integrated tightly within the personal Jake brand, and integrated closely with all the network of other content creators, celebrities that are part of the ecosystem now, and competing that against traditional, let's just buy a Super Bowl ad, let's just buy a bunch of TV ads, let's buy a bunch of meta-targeted ads, and going, hey, we are going to be content authenticity first. I think if we prove out this model, that's something that I think we can be the foundational, likely could create like a new type of venture capital, a new type of private equity. If you just look at the history of these firms, like Bain Capital, you might have heard of, as Mitt Romney's old firm. He was one of the early pioneers around leveraged buyouts, buying out companies, firing people, offshoring people, flipping companies. Toma Bravo, a big guy he's the richest guy in Puerto Rico, a neighbor of yours. He was like the guy who started doing software technology buyouts, and he created like whole copycats of a lot of people doing the same playbook. And I think if we do this right, anti-fund, Better will be something that a lot of people will want to be copying because they see that playbook that we're developing live.
That's what it will become, and it's the new age and of digital content creation, and content literally being king, and it's more powerful than anything else. And so being the pioneers on the forefront of that since I was a kid, being around when the term influencer was created, before we were just YouTube Viner kids, video kids, like there was no name for us. And being around since that day and age, I always said it and always had the most belief in influencers becoming the most powerful thing in the world across all industries because of that authenticity, that fan base, the connection with the fans, and the talent. We're the producers, the directors, the writers, the actors, everything. We're the media company. So distributors, all of it, all in one. And that's why we understand branding. We understand marketing. We understand virality. We understand audience. We understand our own consumer. We understand algorithms. We understand entertainment and how to be good on camera, how to deliver something. And that is a fucking talented individual. And so that's why I think influencers and influencer businesses are definitely 100% the future.
Yeah, I think it'll just be a new default, because if you have all of that, and again, I just since watching behind the scenes, I still see you sometimes being like, hey, the lighting is not good, like literally moving the cameraman. And like, hey, like we gotta like change up, like we gotta reshoot that part. Like you're still quite technical, and like, there's $1 billion brands with like CMOs who basically have like 100, 500 people trying to do the same, replicate
They
that,
have
that
no
same thing.
idea what the fuck they're doing. They're actually they're actually making the company worse by having all of these people. And like literally a lot of these companies would be better off if they hired like a 21-year-old who watches TikTok every day and just gave him a bunch of money and just said go to figure it out. Like truly, 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 because when all of these people get involved, there's too much noise, and then you lose that connection with who your viewer and who your consumer is very, very, very quickly. There's too many chefs in the kitchen, quite literally.
I think a math way to say it, it's like reversion to the mean. It's reversion to mediocrity.
And it's moving so fast. What was dope on social media last week is so different than what matters and makes sense now. The industry changes every single night, overnight, end over end. And so if you're not on the wave and like a part of it, then you're actually, by being a CMO who doesn't get it, you're actually like just hurting your company, and you're spending Lord knows how much money these $100 billion companies are spending on these ads that just don't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, I mean, how would you predict the future of this industry, right? Like, you kind of invented the vlog format and popularized that. I think now, you're going back to a weekly vlog. Short form is just like exploding. If you were kind of predicting, hey, like where are you? I mean, maybe just ask a question directly. Like, where are you focusing your current content efforts? Like, are you looking at format? Are you looking at cadence? Like, for example, Mr. Beast does like the $1 yacht to a $1 billion yacht. Like, is that the future? Like, you have these like cookie cutter templates?
Well, the future is just catering to the algorithm. Like, whatever the algorithm wants is what you should give it. And the algorithm changes all the time. It wants super quick, short attention span, snappy, 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 this, happening, build, keep attention. Something cool needs to happen, keep attention. So that's cool. I understand that, and sometimes we implement tactics into our videos to do that. But for me, right now in content world, I'm personally just like having fun. I don't want it to become like job, and my main goal is to become a world champion boxer and to grow my businesses like better, like Anti-Fun, and then content kind of comes third as like a hobby for me, and I genuinely am having fun again doing it. And so we cater to the algorithm a little bit, but I just am having fun creating again, and it's like genuinely making me happy currently. But yeah, the future of it is just algorithm catering, and you won't even have to be good on camera really. Like, it's just gonna be how you can keep someone's attention, and whoever can do that best. If I was a YouTuber now and like spent all my time doing it, I would literally just have something epic happen every 10 seconds and something random happen every 10 seconds, and putting crazy editing shit on the screen, stuff blowing up, different sound effects, music, camera effects.
Sounds like we need to have generative AI.
Yeah, but
make this content.
That's unfortunately where it's all going.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite side of that, I think is the longer stuff that's completely the exact opposite, which is just the realist conversations, one-to-one in longer form. So it's the short, like dopamine, quick hitting stuff, and then on the other side, like super informative knowledge, like almost as if you were listening to a book. You're gaining a bunch of information from two or more individuals having a super real heart-to-heart conversation, and that's the podcast form. And that's also very, very powerful, because someone might listen to a 3-hour podcast, straight through.
Yeah, it feels like it's your window on, your fly on the wall of like a super interesting conversation they would never have access to.
Exactly, and the realer those conversations are, I think everything is gonna lead to truth. The more truthful you are and the more authentic the speakers are on camera, and the more they pull back the curtain, those people are going to be the most powerful. Like I said, if I was like starting a podcast or something right now and I wasn't who I was, I would literally tell every single dark, deep, crazy thing in my life, tell everything that happens, every relationship. The most authentic, crazy person who literally has no fucking secrets, that puts everything out there, is they would be one of the biggest podcasters, like, over time, for sure. And that's where I think everything is heading, is just like truth.
I think that's what your weekly vlog is going to look like, actually.
Moving closer and closer to truth. Yeah.
No, but I think that
We'll
I think that is like a really smart way to bifurcate. It is, you either optimize for 10-second like retention value
Yep.
on the video, or find truth. I like, part of me thinks that like things that stand a test of time. I mean, last time we were talking about Marcus Aurelius's journals, his meditations, and that's a kind of an interesting riff here, right? Like, people appreciate his honesty to himself as he's struggling and stressed out of his Roman Empire being invaded by barbarians. Like, he's stressed out, and he's like talking about how he's coping and how he needs to wake up. His job is to run a good empire and like be a leader of his people. Like, he could mope all day, but no, like, his job, he was created to do this. Part of me, like, I think resonates with that. Like, podcast is maybe in some way like the best vehicle to have these meditations that potentially could stand a test of time as art forms themselves.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that no one's done this already. That no one's just gone on some podcast, whatever it is, and just every day talked about everything, the craziest shit, and just put it all out there, all their relationships, interaction, and held nothing for themselves. And it's kind of dark and scary, but that person will probably also feel like super liberated.
I know, maybe someone's out there's got to start.
They're gonna all start putting this shit out there. Yeah, pretty crazy. Interesting combo.
Anything else we should cover in terms of tech or philosophy? We got kind of philosophical there. Yeah, I mean, I think, what are you most excited about in terms of the venture capital business? I think in terms of what I see in the market, right? Like 2021, biggest tech market in history. Everyone, we look left and right in Miami, had a new yacht or a new car, or a fucking, like, we went to some crazy trips, seeing some crazy shit together, man. But I think I'm actually glad that a lot of that hype and craziness actually kind of rolled over. You could see that a lot of that new money is gone. I think there's like a lot of just scam weird stuff happening, honestly. So I think it's good that, like, now if you're actually building, you actually have conviction, because there's no free money going around. I think we had to resist the temptation to just like chase every single quick deal. Now I think the expectation that I think about is every single dollar that we invest, again, a lot, like, we treat it as our own freaking money, right? Like, these are just limited resources to make things happen in the world. I think given that there's infinite things to think about, I think we have to be more and more selective. What are the missions? What are the messages? What are the brands? What are the products that we truly think can be impactful to the people that are listening, or people that we can improve the world on, and focus. So I think the way I think about the venture capital outlook is concentrate positions, really help these companies grow and scale and build, and just do the nitty gritty, hard, behind the scenes work that is not glamorous. I think that's what company building actually is. It's not going to investor dinners or going on yachts or flying on jets. Like, the real work is with your team in a sweaty little room, coding and designing and filming a bunch of cuts of ads and saying some dumb ideas and getting challenged and actually finally finding truth.
Yep. And going back and forth, debating on hours on end for one little tweet or something. You never know what it's going to be, but yeah, no, well said. And we said it before in one of our other sit downs, like, now is the time for the builders. The cream of the crop will rise to the top in this environment. And I think that's what's happening. And the markets are slowly getting back on track. But a lot of exciting stuff happening for Anti-Fund, growing. A lot of big news coming up behind the scenes. We'll keep you guys in tune, in touch with what's going on, and looking forward to closing out the year strong, knocking out Nate Diaz.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
You got this.